Okay, looks like we're on. Doesn't look like anyone else is here today. We'll give it a few minutes. Just kind of playing around here. It was a little late, so maybe some people left because of that. Hopefully they'll come back on in a little bit. But oh, here we go. We got a few people on the chat, or on the stream rather. Sorry, I'm a little late. I was just tied up with some junk. Hopefully you are all doing well. Today was just it's kind of just whatever. You guys have your homework assignment. I figured I'd try to go over some stuff in the homework assignment or some ideas around it, um, and kind of take it from there. If you have any questions or anything you'd like me to try to do today, we can do that instead. Um, but yeah, hopefully you're all doing well. Uh, any questions or anything people want to see? The three people who are attending my stream live, all three of you, um, or four now. We got someone else on the chat. That's nice. Uh, anything you're hoping to see? Anything I could pull out of a hat for you? My green screen's all screwed up. I'm gonna try to fix it real quick. It drives me batty. I don't like the. I'm not crazy about the chroma key like functionality of this app. That's super good. Oh, that's better. That's better. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. So yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to any things you might have. If not, I'll just kind of talk around a little bit and play around with some code. Um, so this code should work. I've created a little bit. I've created like some new stuff inside of here. Hopefully this would actually work. I don't actually think it does though. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's something. That kind of worked. I'm gonna see if this is something I was writing before I joined today. I'm kind of curious if this is going to run. Garbage. Doesn't look like it. I was really sure. I was really hoping that was gonna. No, I didn't want that. Why are you? What the fuck is the key comp? There we go. What's the error? I'm kind of curious. It's probably failed to load reset. That doesn't. I don't care about that. Oh, uncut error and a promise. Access fetch. That's a cores policy thing. That doesn't make any sense. It was just working a second ago. And now it's like telling me that like cores is no longer on. I bet if I run this again, I bet it's gonna fail. Yeah, it's not even working like it was just a second ago. Why is that? That is very strange. I'm pretty sure the cores for this like is open. Let me see. Okay, I'm sorry. Like I'm going off on like a weird tangent right now, but like this is legitimately driving me crazy. Um, so how do you check to see like what is core? Well, let's use this as an opportunity to talk about. You're probably seeing this error a lot and have no idea why it's happening. You shouldn't see it for your API. The API we're using almost always. We're just I Snam. We're just I'm talking about some programming stuff I was just doing. I'm getting a weird error. I'm just trying to figure out why that is. So I'm getting a weird core. I'm going to explain this code and get into what I actually wanted to talk about. But before I do that, I'm getting an error in my code and it's driving me nuts. And it's another thing from the course policy that's gone wrong. I'm not entirely sure why, but here's how you can check to see like what's actually going on. We're actually going to talk about this more hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get into this tomorrow, if not next week. Course is basically it's kind of like a policy that is implemented by modern browsers that disallows access to resources that lives on another domain from the web page you're currently at. So if I'm at yahoo.com and my yahoo.com page tries to pull down a resource from google.com, the browser, given no other information or anything else happening, the browser is going to block that. Why? It's a security feature. It's because most of the times you don't want that to happen. If I was a hacker and you come to my webpage, go through my webpage behind the scenes, I could be asking for resources on like your Facebook profile page or like Facebook API or whatever. And if you're already logged in through Facebook or logged in through your bank or whatever, there's no way for that for Facebook servers or your bank servers to know that you're not on their page. Well, that's not actually 100% true, but there are other ways, but no easy way. And they're going to serve that request because we'll talk much about this later in the further semester. If you're signed in, that means you probably have a secure cookie or some other way you're doing state, and that's probably still valid. And your browser is going to use that to send that request off, even when you didn't want that to happen. So CORS is a way to restrict that, of saying like don't allow that. The browser, for safety reasons, is not going to allow that to happen unless there's some agreement, that the server that you're asking things from says, oh, by the way, it's okay to ask about resources from me if you're not on my domain page. So that's the server's responsibility of the resource you're asking from. So again, if I'm on yahoo.com and I try to pull something from my webpage on yahoo.com is trying to pull something from google.com, if the google.com server says, yeah, it's totally cool to pull down the stuff if you're not in the Google domain, umbrella, it's okay to do that. As long as it says it's okay, then it's going to allow that. It has some CORS policy inside of there. If it says nothing, if it has no CORS policy whatsoever, your browser by default you will use the most strict definition and not allow anything. So it just blocks anything that's going through. So that's why you see that whenever you see the core thing. Now you shouldn't see that in your code because the API you're using is setting CORS correctly. The few times you've seen that happen, it might have been because the server was down or something weird like that, or other things going through. But it shouldn't happen. If you're seeing that, that's like something really weird going on. The server's responsibility, the server as being an API wants you to use that in other services because you can't build anything on openlibrary.org or whatever. You don't own that domain. You can't build stuff on there. You're obviously using this API somewhere else. Now I'm having this issue using DuckDuckGo. I'm just using like the DuckDuckGo API. And for some reason, it's also blocking this. Oh no, I was trying to think like, what am I doing here? And now I remember why I'm here. So I want to see, so we can always check to see like what is actually happening if we go to the network tab in our settings. That's way too big. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. So I can see what the CORS is. Remember we just talked about the CORS is defined by the server we're asking things from. And it should in its response have something in its headers to tell you like what the CORS response is. So this is the request. This is the request method. We're going to talk way more about this. Hopefully tomorrow we get like really deep into like HTTP. But talk more about this. Refer policy, strict origin, okay. So content encoding, security policy, default, HTTPS blob. Nope, that's all cool. Content type, also cool. Date, yeah, that's okay. Expect, yeah. Refer policy, origin, server, status, strict transport, security, no, that's fine. Var code. So this headers we're seeing here. This is from the response. This is the headers from the server that we ask things from. So DuckDuckGo servers, and this is all the metadata about that response they're given to us. Inside of using fetch, we can have access to all of this. So when we're using fetch as well, we can always look at these type of things like status 200. That means that like it actually worked. Same origin, really? Jesus, that ugh. So that is not allowing it. It says it's only going to allow like X frame options. Is that's why did it ever work in the first place? It just like I have it on video, like it legit did work for like a second. And I don't know why that did then. If the cores was it shouldn't like be like sometimes yes and sometimes no. Like that's ridiculous, right? Um, it's response. This is what I asked for. So this is the request headers. This is like everything I asked for. This is my browser made all this and send this request. A lot of different metadata stuff. This is an important one, the user agent string. We always set this. Your browser sets it automatically. It's what tells the server like who we are. And so this I'm saying like, oh, I'm you see like it says like Mozilla, Apple, WebKit, blah 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 blah. Basically, I'm using WebKit. WebKit is the HTML engine that's running or rendering this in this browser. It's the most popular one. It's using Chrome and Apple. Safari. It's used in Mozilla now. I think Edge, Microsoft Edge, also uses WebKit. So like, this is pretty much the only game in town. But it's also telling me like, it's saying like I'm on some Windows machine, probably using Chrome, and if I am using Chrome, it's going to be like this version. It's going to be like 85.0.416. So this is always sent every time you're ever doing anything online. Okay, so that's really stupid. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. If I were just not asking this as JSON, let me see if Gogo. I'm sorry, I'm hijacking this whole thing. DuckDuckGo's got to have like an official API. I bet they're gonna want me to use like OAuth or something stupid. I'm almost guaranteed it's gonna be something they're gonna want me like to authenticate or have a agent string or like an API key or something. Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like that's probably it. Let's see. What's this? Yeah, this is what. I wasn't using the API though. I was using like regular so that's something. That's whatever. Let me see. Let me check. See what's going on in here. See what the settings are. See what the course policy that it's returning. Again, I'm going to reload this page. You're going to see what's going on. That returned. Let's look at my response headers. So we've got the response headers. We've got cache control, max age. So it means it's constantly going to be in my cache. It's not going to clear my cache. Content type. It's the type of JavaScript because JSON is JavaScript. I got expires, reference policy, refer policy, origin. I don't think that's good. Same origin still. That's really annoying. It expect no, it wouldn't have worked if it was expecting like an API key or something. That's really annoying. Is there anything else about this? Return types, email approval, non-commercial use. So you can't just like use it or play around with that. Name of app request. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't want. I think it wants like an API key or something. Could they have that some way of measuring it? You're only allowed like 10,000 responses. Yeah, 10 million queries a day. Or not. No, never mind. It serves that many a day. Can we serve one of the language libraries? Blah blah blah. Place the API both underline source. Yep, non-commercial use. Use a descriptive. Name of app. I wonder if I should just like put anything there. I wonder if it would be cool with that. I wonder if I have to register this beforehand. Okay. Let's also check to see. Let's show you that the course policy changed because of that. I'm going to say probably no. I'm going to say probably didn't. It probably didn't actually work. But hey, you know, we can hope and dream. Nope. God damn. That's really, yeah, same origin. Okay, well, yeah, that's not gonna work. It's getting harder and harder to find things like this nowadays. And what I mean by that, like, it's harder and harder to find. I tried this just for fun. I'm popping out here. Query JSON. This is probably not going to do anything, but we'll keep going. We'll just try. We'll try it one more time. What's the worst that could possibly happen? Oh, I meant to do that inside my comma. Oh, God damn it. I have two of those, 2 ampersands. Okay. That's looking good. Let's try this again. Nope. No, I knew it. Like, I knew it wasn't going to work. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's going to be... I know that. I literally was just looking at the... But it was, like, I have it on video. It was working on video. Like, that legit happened. Whatever. Okay. So we're going to explain this code. I'm going to talk a little bit about, like, what I was doing, why all this is broken, apparently. And I can't actually show you what was going on because, you know, I don't know, the API gods hate me. So let's kind of walk through a little bit of this code and some stuff that I was writing. And this is similar to some of the stuff you're doing right now. So let's say I have an array of just a bunch of stuff. Here I have a bunch of strings. It's an array of strings. Cat, dog, hey. Nothing fancy, nothing else going on inside of here. Now, because this is an array, I can always use like .map. You could go through, I think a lot of people like thinking in terms of like for loops and while loops and other things and stuff like that. And that's like that is a traditional way of like how you would normally go through every member in an array and stuff like that. But with JavaScript and using some of the functional aspects of it, we can always use like map and reduce. That's usually a better, cleaner, faster way of handling some of the elements inside of here. And I kind of encourage you to try that out, of like try using map, reduce, all the other things. And we could apply that and use that with our promises and with the things we're building, stuff like here. So you can see here I'm using .map. Remember, map is a method that all arrays have that accepts a function and tells that we give it a function, and it's going to apply that function to every element inside of our array. So inside of our function that we do things with, we could have it return or build up new things inside of there, and it's going to make something new. So I've taken this array of cat, dog, hey, and I've created a new array that's going to make an array of promises. See here I have a map. I'm saying X. I want this to, X is going to be the element in my array that I care about. And I'm going to say fetch. Here's the URL of the thing that I care about. This is my, DuckDuckGo. This would have worked had cores not been totally killing me for some reason. I wonder if it's something with Replit. I wonder if it's like Replit. No, it doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't have worked on my local host either. Yeah, that's stupid. It wouldn't work anywhere. I could have built a proxy for this, but whatever. I'm not going to spend the time doing that. So what was I? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm getting all messed up. So here I'm adding to my string and stuff like that. I'm creating the URL. You could also use like your URL object or the URL prototype to like build URLs for you, having the parameter things, right? In fact, that's actually easier, better, because it'll do the query strings for you correctly. It'll URL encode those, or it'll search encode those. So like most search engines accept like plus signs for things that have like spaces. There's not like it's replacing spaces with that. It's just saying like, I want like the and Lord and you have the rings or whatever. You have like and, it's like logical and on all those, but not like a hard logical and, I think. Or it's more like an or. I don't know. Whatever. It's handling things like that. It's like there's a difference between like a search or a search association or a search kind of encoding and URL encoding. If you would just URL encode that, it would replace all the spaces with I don't know, whatever the Unicode, whatever the URL code for spaces is. I think it's like percent 28 or something, or hash 28, something like that. I don't remember top. So to do that, it would like URL code to spaces, which we'll also talk about again more tomorrow. No point kind of getting into that today. So anyway, I'm doing that. I'm mapping out. I'm putting a fetch inside of this, and now this request is an array of promises. And because this is an array of promises, I can apply Promise.all on that. And so now I could do Promise.all on this type of thing. I can dot then this Promise.all. And see inside of here, I have, oh, that doesn't really come out well. Yeah, that doesn't, you can't really see that super well. That's a little better. So I could like Promise.all, my request. Remember, this is now an array of promises because I've did a fetch and all those. And all those, what's the moment I run this, when I do that map, all those fetches are executing at that moment. They're running right now, like, or they're running the moment that actually executes. So they're actually going to do that, and it's going to do them all in parallel because I've gone through and asked each one, but they're all kind of happening at the same time. None of those are depending on any of the others. They're all kind of happening. So I do Promise.all, and basically that's a way for me to wait or somewhat, or have like a single dot then to wait until all of the promises in this array have finished or have resolved in some way. And then I can do a bunch of other things with it. Now that I've done that, I can dot then it and then apply other functions and do other weird things in here. So I could here still have my responses, because what we get back from the Promise.all, we give it an array of promises. It's going to give us back an array of results or responses of what we were asking for. Now remember, because they're coming from promises, all those are also promises as well. And we could dot then, we can do another Promise.all on all of those. And way to get, that's what I probably should have been doing, and that second code thing isn't going to work. Yeah, I'd have to do like another Promise.all, huh? Yeah. Is there a way to do that? No, because it's the. I'm sorry, I'm like thinking aloud. Yeah, because I have to do those in serial, one after the other. Yeah. Okay. So I can do this. So this is responses. Is actually like my actual responses back from the fetch. After it's finished completing, I actually got back its response from the server. Remember that fetch response of that element in that array is also a promise, but it actually like also has the data and stuff that we cared about, or some of the stuff. Remember, fetch, we have to like do like 2.thens on it. The first thing that comes back from fetch is our response, and that response is going to have like the error code or the response code, so whether it's 200, 300, whatever. It's going to have a couple other methods to like to ask other things from it, which will then itself return an array. But we have to call it again or do another .that on it, because the actual data, the head or the body of what we're asking for, that's always going to be embedded in another promise, or we have to like do another request on it, because that could still take time downloading. It could be slower. It also allows us to know when to not bother even looking at the body, because there's not going to be one. If we had like a 404, the first fetch comes back and we get a 404 from that, we know immediately, don't even bother asking for like response.json or response.body or response.text or whatever, because we know it's not going to exist. Like there's nothing there. So we're not even going to bother calling it again. That's why we had that twice. And also, like, it could take some time downloading. Like the head usually comes back immediately, because it's just a little bit of metadata. There's not a lot there. But your body could be really slow, or it could be really big, and it might take a while for your browser to load that in or to download that from the server. So we also kind of like not spin wait, but we asynchronously wait for that to finish coming in. So inside this example code thing I have here, remember my request, full of promise. This is an array of promises. I Promise.all it. I have a dot then. This function, everything in this dot then executes or runs the moment all the promises in the request array have finished, have either failed um, or either they're rejected or what's the other R with the resolved? You know, that comes back, and it's just a normal dot then. But instead of the response, instead of like in a normal fetch, remember this isn't like a single fetch we're doing. This is an array of fetches. So instead of like a single request or response we're getting an array of responses that are coming back from us, and we could do different things with it. So we can go through each one. We could look at different things from it. I could do something. I could do like a promise.all on that array to then actually get the data that I cared about it. So I'd have to do like another promise.all on top of that. I believe it would be something like this. It'd be let me just like kill this. So say I have some code down here. Here's another one. Responses. So this is not obviously not going to. Well, this actually kind of would work. This is mapping. Do like a .json. All this response now. And it's returning that. This is to go through, right? That's gonna execute on that. I think I'd want to do something like not map console.log. That hasn't come back. I'm gonna have to like, it's gonna be an array of those. It's gonna be something like I'm gonna have to do something dumb. It's gonna be like promise.all r right, and then like dot then on God, I hate every time I don't want that to appear, it comes up. It's annoying. And now this would actually be like the thing I cared about. So I could do like, oh, I don't know, something similar to this. It'd be literally like this, but like whatever I cared about inside of here. So I could do like this, pretty much this, yeah. I could do something like this. Let me put some good tabs in there. Doesn't matter. The name is the same. It doesn't really matter. Console log that response. URL is probably not going to mean anything. Status isn't going to mean anything. But I could be like response dot. I don't know. Whatever it's actually in a JSON object, that I actually cared about. I don't actually. Let's just do like dot length. Now, of course, this isn't going to work because, the god of all this hates me, apparently. The god of APIs is not happy with me. So, like, none of this is actually going to run. I could try it again. No. Oh, I'm also going to need a syntax here because I'm an idiot. But for those following at home, let me see. What's probably having too many or not enough curly brackets. Oh yeah, I need another one for the second dot then. Yeah. Kill that. I bet if there's any other syntax error. Oh, unexpected token. What? Yeah, it doesn't need this one. That one's already complete. No, okay, so all the syntax errors are gone. But it's not going to run because the CORS issue. But that's basically something you could use, hint, hint, for your project and things like this. It would be something similar to this. I'm going to try putting it in. Let me go to the README. What is the URL? I really want this to work. Let's do this. Copy and pasting because I'm lazy. Can do this. Can do that. Can do this. Going to. You shouldn't do. This is dumb. You shouldn't do this. Plus plus. Because if your X has spaces in it, like you're totally screwed. And this should be S. That was my wrong. Is this actually going to do something? No? Really? Oh. Something happened. Getting a bunch of undefines though. That's not cool, but why is response not it's definitely of size 4. There's 4 things inside as responses. For each response, console, response dot length. So the response that should be the thing I cared about, right? There should be something inside of that. I'm dot thenning all of that. I'm waiting on those. It's getting back to me. It's an array of junks. That should be cool. The wise response. Oh, is it because I'm not? No, that's not it either. It's is it because I'm an idiot? Yes. What is it? It's undefined. There's definitely 4 of them, so they're all coming back. Responses is returning an array. What is undefined? It's not finding anything for those. The URLs look good. Those look fine. Nothing to worry there. That should do something. I mean, it is. We're getting 200s from it, so at least that part's working, right? This is waiting on. I did like a whole nother Promise.all on all of those, but that is, totally legit. Not then responses. Oh, wait, no. That's still. No, that's still okay. Yeah, y.json. So I'm mapping y, so I'm putting inside of here. Oh, maybe it's not returning that. No, but it should. It's returning. It's returning that the responses, because R is actually of size 4, so it's actually doing that. Else that wouldn't work. Promise.all on that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to play around with this a bit more. I don't know why exactly it's not working. It's probably something dumb. I'm probably screwing up one of this Promise.all, or I bet I'm doing something like out of order. I'd have to put some breakpoints and other things with it. And I'm apparently not smart enough to do this off the top of my head, and I thought I was. But it is what it is. But something like that could work or should work. That's the general gist of the idea. If I was a better programmer live, that would work. But I'm not. So yeah, that's Promise.all. It's something that should be useful for looking up all the authors and creating an array of things and doing other stuff on top of that. Remember, you don't want to do. I've noticed a few people trying to look up the authors in serial. If you're doing like one after the other, if you're doing that like as a for loop, and waiting on each one of those as a for loop and waiting for the response back in a for loop, as long as you're just creating an array of promises using a for loop, like you can replace. You don't have to do like a .map. We could have done this as a for loop and just like made a new array and created elements inside of there. That would have been fine. But especially if you're doing like awaits and asyncs, I think some people were like kind of confused. Remember, awaits and asyncs, that's like literally waiting. It's like .then. We're actually waiting and blocking. Not really blocking, but we're still waiting for that. We're not going to the next line until that response comes back. That's the same whenever we do an await on something. That's the exact same thing as just doing .then and waiting for the response for that. If you're doing that inside of a for loop, that's not right. We want to be doing all these responses in parallel, not in series. That would be we'd be going to the first element, waiting for it to be finished, putting its data inside the right thing, going to the next one, waiting for that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just going to take forever, you know what I mean, depending on how many authors and things that you have. Um, so that's kind of all I had. I just wanted to talk a little bit about fetch and promise and arrays and map and some of the cool things you can do with that. Is there? I was just here to offer up any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want me to talk about, or something that you're encountering in your code that seems really confusing that you'd like me to address or try to play with or show some examples of, or something like that. I'm happy to try to bumble around in my coding for something like that. I can't guarantee I will get it success live in front of an audience of 5 people, but I can try. I can definitely try. Okay. But how long should the lookup take? Because using an async function inside. So that's exactly what I was saying. You don't want to be doing, because if you're using an async function, so if you're actually doing like the await inside of a for loop, that's going to happen in serials. Remember, awaits is semantically the same as just doing dot then on that, which means you're not going to go to the next element in you're not going to you're not going to loop back until that response has been completely done and you're finished doing whatever it was that you were doing. Oh, the await isn't in the for loop, then that should be fine as long as you're just constructing or creating a promise, like you're doing something like fetch blah 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 blah, put it inside an element and array, whatever, and stuff like that. That's fine as long as you're just doing the fetch inside of a for loop, and then go waiting to like await it later. You know what I mean? And like do that await later and stuff like that. Then that's totally fine. You could totally do that. In fact, even your promise.alls, you can even do like awaits on promise.alls. I could have done something like, let response. If this was inside of an async function, it's not. Await promise.all. What am I want? What was I? The requests. So I could have done something like, it should be equals. Boop, boop, boop. Not that one. There we go. So I could have done something like that. You know what I mean? And kind of going through as well. That's totally fine. And then I could go through my responses would be the result of whatever's coming there, and I could for loop inside of that and do that to my heart's content. Yeah, but the entities tend to show up like 3 seconds over 10 seconds. No, that you should. There's an easy way also to know if they're happening in parallel or in series, by just opening up oh, damn it! Why did I never get that right on the first try? By opening up the network, tab in your DevTools, you'd be really apt at doing, and then like running your code while this is open. You'll see all the requests, and you'll see if they're happening in series. So like you're going to see like one request, wait, it's going to stop, go down. The next request will go from there down. Next request onwards. You'll see that happen, and it'll tell you all the information about like how long it took, how big it was, how much data was in that request, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, if I were to do that right now, let me like rerun this. Oh, that's right, because that doesn't work. Of course. Okay. I'll try this. I should actually go through. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's not. Of course, duh. Let's try this instead. Let's actually be smart about what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, something. tab. Okay. If I were to zoom in on, you can see, oh, no, I don't want that. This is looking really ugly. That one took freaking forever. Okay, you're having good with your garlic. So here I can see requests coming at the same time. They're all parallel. We see up top here. We have the first request. This is the initial, loading my page or loading my main.js or whatever it was, that actually loaded this. And then this code ran all these other things. All four of these happened at the same time. They're happening in parallel with one another. I can easily see that. If I were to click on one of these, I'll get a bunch of information about it. I'll get some stuff on the timing of it. I can see, this whole thing, this took 4 milliseconds for queuing, waiting for first byte. God damn, that was slow. Wow, 3.42 seconds. Jesus. TTFB, that's time to first byte. That's basically how long it takes for the server to respond back to you, and just like, it's like what's the server's doing, and before it actually sends any data to you. So it tells you how slow, the response back from the server. And then content download, that's how slow it took for you to download that data. That's still, the download is really slow though. That's also 3.64 seconds. That's just like a little bit of JSON. How big of that? What was the size of this? God, it took 30 seconds. Jesus. It's weird. Initiate. Yep. Response. So this is the actual JSON. I mean, it's a lot of data there. That's kind of ridiculous. All this junk, all these things. Oh, no, that is num found. The header should tell me how big this stupid thing is. Response. Keep alive. Chunked. Get options. See here, this is the key thing here. This is why CORS doesn't complain for us when we're using this API. Right here, see this? It says access control allowed origin. It says who's allowed to request things from me outside of Open Library, the openlibrary.org, and it's star. That means anyone, everyone, anyone's allowed to request these type of things from the server if you're not on the server. That's why that's why we're not getting a CORS complaint. But this is so stupid. It's really difficult to find APIs nowadays that allow that or do that. Most APIs, they want to restrict how much you're using them and other things from that. So they'll do things like, they'll want to, at the very least have an API key, that they're going to give you. That's kind of a secret. You don't want to tell other people what your API key is because you're only allowed maybe X amount of queries a day or something like that. Or they're going to want you to authenticate in some way. They're going to want to use OAuth or something like that, which we're going to talk about later in the semester as well, which is kind of an open way to authenticate using third-party providers or other third-party providers and creating kind of secured cookies through there. OAuth is kind of complicated. It's not really it's not difficult, but it's weird completely on its own. But the good thing is you very rarely ever write or do an OAuth procedure on your own, because that's kind of annoying. You normally would use some library or some OAuth library or some wrapper that maybe is for that API or something like that handles some of those things for you. So it's just something to keep track of or think about. It's just as hard to find APIs that aren't going to have a weird CORS issue. That's one of the that's the reason why we're using this crappy API, this search library. Not because I care about books or anything. This is one of the few APIs I could reliably find that has an open CORS policy that allows you to play with it and isn't enforcing you to authenticate with it or sign up for it and create a secret API key and blah 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 blah. And I just didn't want that. But as you can see, all of our things were asked through here. Hey, which one was this? This was the hey, I guess, or something. That one is just really slow. What's the size? It's not telling me what the size is. That's weird. I should. My response headers. Use source. External stats. Max age. Content type. Server. And that's just my request junk. I don't care about that. Nope. View URL encoded. View URL decode. Preview. The actual response itself. I'm surprised it's not telling. It should. I get like the how much was transferred over, but it's just kilobits. Like even like the entire resources going back and forth. All of my requests was like 685 kilobits or kilobytes, like all together, which is like nothing. Like, why did it take? Why was one of these so slow to download? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That one's not that slow. That one's 200 milliseconds. That's not bad. That's 200 milliseconds. What was the slow one? This was like 1 whole second to download, which is insane. 800 milliseconds. Cat. And this was the cat one. This is just cat. Why? This is just 3 seconds. Over 3 seconds. 3.5, like over 3.5 seconds to download just a couple kilobytes. Anyway, crazy stuff. That's kind of all I have for today. Any other questions, comments, concerns you might have as you're playing with things? Anything else you want me to explain or talk about, during this time and stuff like that? I'll of course have this up on YouTube later tonight. I don't know why anyone would want to see this if you're not live asking questions, but I'm sure there's a few weirdos out there that would. So this is for you. If not, we'll just get moseying along. Any other questions, comments? Okay, sounds good. Yeah, hasta la vista, baby. As the governor of California once said. I will catch you later, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Okay. Have a good one, guys. Bye.